So I did my camera. This actually is going to be kind of cool.
These like made available to recording them for like.
You are allowed to purchase it for reference, or no, you bought the class. You get it for reference if you need it. Other people could purchase it. We are probably this winter. I'll try to edit some of this together and maybe do a channel on it if Travis wants to continue in the education. I did get hired to do a big class in the middle of July, so this is something that he's wanting to go in that direction.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, if you need reference to it, I can send you, it's going to be raw data. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it is available. So we'll go over this really quick. Here's our micro rhizae, which we're going to use today too. Fava beans are the only beans that do really well in a cold situation and need stratified. Stratified means gotten cold, gotten warm, gotten cold, gotten warm. That's what they mean.
But so and these ones, unlike the ones we did last week, don't need to be pre-soaked or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
and these are beans, not peas. So that's why I didn't put them in last week. I didn't want to confuse you. We're going to do some scallions. Scallions are onions that never bulb. That's the only difference.
Okay.
There are onions that bulb and there are onions that don't, and those don't. These carrots are the little sweet, crunchy, tasty carrots that are only about as big around as your finger, but very long and very brittle. These were the main season crop for me as a market gardener because the flavor is excellent. They're ready quickly, and they're not overwhelmingly large.
Do they keep?
No.
No. Yeah.
These are the keepers.
Okay, good.
So we'll keep these. These are 80-day carrots. That means they're not even going to be ready. They're not going to be mature for 80 days. These are great juicers. These are great storing carrots. I have buried them under straw in the ground over winter and had success. They get kind of woody on the inside after about 120 days though. So these guys we'll put in as our storage carrots. And then I picked these radishes because these are my favorite. And my friend Robert, he's a chef, he likes these too. And I imagine he'll come around and want some. And then we're going to do multicolored beets. We're not going to plant very many, but beets have an interesting phenomenon that a lot of people don't know about. That is, each one of those seeds isn't a seed, it's a pod of seeds. There can be 8 seeds in each one of those pods. So a lot of times if you plant your beets out thusly, and then you water them and they come up and it looks like you put down your seed like that.
Yeah.
That's why, because it's wet, it bursts open and gives you 8.
Neat.
But that is something to think about in terms of how the plant grows then. It seems to me, and I've always found this to be true in the garden, that if it wants to have 8 seeds in a very small area, that's actually what the plant wants to do. And I've noticed that beets love to sort of make a gob. So I will not worry about getting the seeds too far apart. One, I'm going to thin and take baby beets out early, not to throw away. So get the little ones out first, and then that gives room for the second group of them to expand. Beets don't really expand until after solstice anyway. A lot of vegetables don't expand until after solstice. They grow, but they don't get big and fat and plump. So we're going to plant all those. And we're going to take that. But we're going to have, and we're going to put in some kale, some chard. I'm not going to seed chard, but I will say that chard and beets both have that 8 seeds to a pod. So in this one, they've put in probably 1 in each. They've possibly thinned, but possibly not. And then I wanted to show you this too. This is not lettuce. It says it's lettuce, but it's not. This is stir fry mix. It's got this mustard. It's got this mustard.
Okay,
It's
it looks
got
like a bunch
bok
of mustards.
choy. Yeah, it's got a little lettuce over here. It's got a little lettuce in there, but mostly this is stir fry mix. This is really nice for braising. I was thinking I'd pull some of it apart, and then I remembered that we seeded in some mustard, and I don't need more mustard.
So would you then just cross-plant this?
This I'm going to plant. I will cover it up. Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I want it to be nice and juicy and not get too much wind on it. Wind is is what sucks the moisture out of plants. So I like to keep them covered. And we're not going to plant all of that. We're going to just pick and choose. So, but first we're going to have irrigation lesson. And I'm going to set this up a little bit here. And I'm probably not going to take the time to set it up in front of you out there. But we will be doing that. Every week we'll add something. But I'm going to show you the initial setup first.
Because are you basically just going to set up the stuff that's already out and then just as you go?
But I don't know that I can do it today.
Fair.
Plus it takes a long time. So I thought, well, I'll show you guys what to do. This is 1/2 inch, and they refer to it as inside diameter. So this is 0.07 or something like that. 0.700 outside diameter. So that means the inside is a little tight. I got this from our big box purveyor. We use this company called BFG. Yeah, terrible name. Anyway, I don't like it. It's not what I wanted. What I wanted was from that company. I want this. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but I guess the only way to have you see the difference is to look and feel. Feel how brittle that is. And then this one feels
more rubberized.
Yeah, especially right at the cut. And that one is more brittle and I forget the word. Stiff, I guess is the right word. So like I told you, I was
gonna say, is this like a concern for UV resistance or
no?
You just
it's really hard to put the pieces in this one. It's really easy to put them in the soft one.
Okay.
So I wanted you to see the difference. This is, if you buy this tubing, I don't sell it. It's much cheaper to go to Mountain Supply and buy it.
Okay.
It's like, if I sold it here, I'd have to sell it for almost $30 a roll. You can get it from them for like 22. So I would, and then I'm not going to carry this because I don't like the quality. And I don't want people to come here, buy it, and go, that stuff sucks. Yeah. So I'm not carrying that one. I am going to carry this one. And then, here's my, okay, there it is.
So this is the drip works.
This is the drip works. Yes, remember when I said I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about. I found that one, and I didn't like that quality at all, and I was like, well, I know I have better, so I will rob that kit and get that kit replaced. I have a couple of those for sale right now.
I have a bunch of this in my yard, and I don't know where I don't know where it starts, where it
that's funny. I mean, some of it could just be your regular lawn irrigation, or if you had trees or
There's
bushes.
a sprinkler just over one of the planters, so I need to figure out.
Sprinkler irrigation is a little different.
Okay,
it can handle extreme high pressure.
Okay.
It's usually very stiff, very brittle, and hard to work with.
Yeah.
That's why sprinkler irrigation guys make the big money.
Yep.
We have the little sprinkler tubes that come out, and we have that all over around our house, the garden. It's like around, so
when it warms up, you're going to turn that on and find out what you're already working with.
Actually, and I will give you the secret, because you can actually do quite a bit with what you've got. Where's my goof bugs?
Yeah, I might just have to find.
Yeah, you're like, all I need is the little tubes, and
I have somewhere on this table, somewhere in here, I have the little plugs that you can use to plug holes. Of course, I don't see them right in front of me right this minute, and I thought they were in my pockets. But wow, I feel like I'm pregnant. I keep dropping and losing things. Okay, so this you can't, obviously you're not gonna be able to hook that to your hose, your faucet. So here's how, and I'm gonna be selling all of these parts in the next while for this company, and for the stuff that I'm using now. I will be selling all of this here. So this is called Easy Lock, and other companies make different brands, just like Kleenex. I prefer this one because it's super easy. So the very first thing we want to do is have a hose beginning, and we're going to put that in. And it's hard at first. It's much easier if it's a little warmer, but not too warm. You shove it in as far as you can, and then you're going to turn this backwards. Now it's locked. Okay. And it isn't going to come off unless you open this up, and it isn't going to leak. So then there's other things that we need to do for outside. we need to add, first we need to add a filter, and you always want to add a filter to your system to put through your drip because it does keep the sand out. It has a filter, nice clean mesh, and then it has an O-ring in there, right there, that rubber ring, so it won't leak. All the water goes in, down, through the filter, and back out again. It captures sand. You clean it out about, in the spring I clean them out once a week, in the summer once a month. The wells start to take a lot less.
If we're not doing wells, you still recommend that?
How are you watering without a well?
Well, I mean, I just have my house, so.
Oh,
Ours is
no.
city waters.
Yes, I still would recommend
Okay.
it because it's going to keep anything out of your drippers, which, and on principle, your drippers are very tiny and delicate. So this one has this kind of cutoff, which I like. This is how you clean it out. You turn the hose on, you open this up,
Neat.
the whole thing goes and you're done. You don't have to take it apart. So that would actually go on the well, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the first thing that would come off the well, and then this is going to go on it. Oh, well, no, this is a hose thread. So then I have that system. Now I need to add a timer because I like to keep track of how long I'm watering, and I like to control that, and I don't like to have to remember to turn it off. I'd rather remember to turn it on. And so this can go in this setup too. The whole thing can go in the setup. So you're coming off the well with our first thing, and we're going on to a timer. So it'll be looking very awkward in a minute. Now I have this is a very simple timer. You push this down, turn the dial, and it just tick, tick, ticks until it's done. For this type of irrigation, which is the flat hose that lays right on top of the crop, we need to reduce the pressure. There's pressure regulators that go 10, 20, 30. For this system, we need to get it between 7 and 10. So it's got to go under 10. And it can seem really confusing, but just imagine your kitchen faucet has a pressure regulator that doesn't go at 30 pounds per square inch. Otherwise, every time you wash dishes, there'd be water everywhere in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's got one of these, you just don't necessarily know it. So when they sell their drip kit, they've included this 7.5, which is pretty low. I prefer the higher quality one. The kits sometimes have medium quality, but I was a farmer, so I use the crap out of these things. The medium quality is really great for the household use. And so that is something too that we can put in the line. You can put it either place in the line. It doesn't matter. So you can put it up here and it will regulate the water going through the filter, through the timer, and into the system. This is, I'll let you guys take a picture of this, because this is the best setup that I have found for how to put it together. And I would say too, replacing your washers every spring will save you so much headache. Okay, then, so this is what I call this the main line. This is a high pressure system, even though I've pressured it down with that 10 pounds per square inch. If I was doing drip irrigation, like the little things like the little 1/4 inch tube that you were talking about,
Yeah.
I would talk it down to maybe 20 pounds. If I had a huge drip system with like a giant yard with lots of trees and flowers, 30. But we're going to use this for the flat irrigation hosing. So this is where we start there. That's the beginning that comes off the hose. This stuff is called T-tape. This is what I use for vegetables. I don't use this for shrubs. You can see that it's got drippers in it. So the hose expands It fills with water and those strips, it lays right across the top of the crop. We'll take some out and do a line with that. Drip tape, oh, I'll go ahead and do this. Drip tape has different fittings because you have to pressure down to use drip tape. You can't run 30 pounds through here. It'll explode. Well, you can, but it'll be stunningly outrageous. We're just gonna do the end. So we're gonna assume that this is all laying out on a beautiful farmstead. It's all ready to go. And you wanna put some drip tape in your system. You wanna water your carrots. So this is the hole punch that I use. There's also the handheld kind, like that one. I like this one because I can do 1/2 inch and I can pop that out. Now I can do 3/4 inch too. So this is 1/2 inch. Sometimes I work in 3/4. You don't need 3/4 at home unless you're gonna go into business. So I leave that in there. That's the punch. This just saves your hand when you have to do it all day. You wanna make sure and get your punch on the side. I lay my tubes out. You want to make sure and get your punch on the side. You want to know what side you're on, and then you simply punch a hole. Now this one has a valve on it. They're a little more expensive, but if you're doing one straight main line with a whole bunch of crop lines coming off of it, I would definitely use one of these. Let's pretend this is 100 feet or so. I am going to open this up. Personally, I like to check where my dripper is and take the dripper off right away so that when I put this in, which is like that, I'm trying to make sure I get it on my camera too. When I go like that, I'm going to push it on all the way over that barb. Did you see the barb there? As far as you can. You want the blue lines to match up with the valve. You hold the whole thing, screw it tight, and that's it. Now you say, I got it on here. So my system, this goes in. Woof. Now this will just drip water. Well, won't it just come out the end? Yes, yes it will. So this is your closer, and it's super easy. You go through here. Just the big end through first. Push it back. Go fold. Go fold. Oh wait, I did it backwards. You did it absolutely backwards. Sorry, skinny end. Go fold. Go fold.
So you can just
Pull it taut, but not super tight. That is how we'll lay it out. We'll lay a length of this across. We'll use high pressure fittings, which don't have the green. This is this without a valve. This is in case you get a hole. You can connect two pieces easily. Yeah, so that's all that. It's just a coupler. We'll use high pressure pieces to make the tubing go up, over, down. We'll use elbows, we'll use T's, we'll use couplers. This is a valve. It's really filthy. It's been sitting on my farm for a year. So that I can turn off different systems if I want to. That's really helpful there. But now let's say that you wanted to close the end of this. This goes on, you bend it, and you put it through, and it doesn't leak. So what's nice about this whole system is that you don't have to use any funky glues or tapes or thinkings. It just, the pieces just lock together, and you can make all kinds, any kind of shape you can imagine. You don't have to have long pieces. Let's pretend there's no hole. Let's say that you've got a valve. And you really want to have a valve in a line. And then you want to go, like you have your valve right here, you want to have that right here. And you want to go down. You can cut that as short as you want. Yeah, oh, thank you. You can cut that as short as you want, and then you can go. So now, oops, go on. Oh, I didn't have it screwed back. I should have said that too. You want to make sure they're screwed all the way back. And what I'm going to have you do is take this apart so you can feel what it's like to do it. So now I can go let's say this is my bed, I've got a valve here, I can turn the bed on, which means I can just use these drippers. I don't have to have valve drippers, but I could have valve drippers. So I will do one more thing to kind of give you another clue. Come here. Oops, I'm so sorry. I'll have you guys take it apart first and then learn to put it together if you want to. Those locked. Now I want to have a T. I need another system somewhere else. Oops, go on. This hurts, so I only do a little bit every day.
Yeah.
It can really make your hands carpal tunnel-y and achy. So now, if I want, I can have this come up. Get that too tight. Nope. Come up. I can water off. I can run another main line that way or another main line that way. I can have drippers going all over the place. So why don't you take that apart and put it together and see what you feel, to see what it feels like.
So would you, because I know you just said it hurts to take it apart. Would
Oh no,
you
it hurts to build the system.
Okay, so would you be taking it apart at the end of the season?
Generally I didn't. I generally left it because I knew I had to rebuild it and I knew every year was different.
Yeah.
So I would just store the parts, the mainline parts especially, all these last years and years and years if you don't know them. There's a voice of reason. And they also last a lot longer if you keep them out of the sun all winter. This too can last 7 or 8 years if you take it indoors. I would just zip tie it to the studs on a garage wall. It doesn't need special treatment, but it does last if you leave it in the ground too.
Okay.
Not as well.
Right.
But the parts can be, when you have to buy hundreds of them, a little expensive, so I took extra good care of them. But yes, I would take it apart in the spring before I rebuilt my system, because otherwise I'm doing that. 6 of one, half of those of the other.
So you pull it from the ground and store it all
Yes.
attached, then take it apart.
Yes, or I take it apart in chunks and
Okay.
store it in reasonable pieces. I'm going to rebuild different every year, so I'm not going to have any. I wouldn't have any guarantee that I would use the same system every year. So yeah, and please both of you try that, and then try this tape too, because you'll see the very different feel of it. I found my goof plugs. So if you make a mistake and you accidentally punch your hole on the wrong side, it's not the end of the world. Oh no, wrong side! Damn it! These are two sizes of goose plugs. Sometimes if you use the hole over and over through the years, the hole gets larger and larger, and you need to plug it with the larger side. But most of the time you can plug it with the small side. Sometimes you need pliers, sometimes you don't. And you push in a goose plug. And now it won't leak.
Are they actually called goof plugs?
Yes, I swear to God, they're called goose plugs. No,
This is a goof. Yeah, I'm like, is this an MJism or is this a technical term, a goof plug?
what's so funny is I was telling Travis, I was like, oh no, I bought because I bought these in sacks to sell to people. I said I bought a lot of goof plugs, and he didn't know what I was talking about. 1/4-inch goof plugs.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Don't question my knowledge.
Oh, and here's an illustration then of what we've done. So we've gotten a hose filter on there. They put the pressure regulator afterwards, and then there's your female hose start. They have you can put your filter first and your pressure. It doesn't make that much difference. And then here they've taken their main line, the heavy stuff. They've dropped in their drippers and run them off. The kit comes with fancy ends. I like the simple ends. The fancy ends, though, you can clean out. You put that in the end of your T-tape, tighten it down, and then
Would you just stake it?
Yes. Well, you
Okay.
don't have to.
Right.
They stay put. I mean, I guess I want to be able to move my line around.